How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brief narrative and update on the current state of the market, both emotionally and technically. We're going to be looking at the major pairs currently, BTC, ETH, XRP, some of the top altcoins, but I first want to start off with BTC, its narrative, its emotional state in the market cycle, so you could get a good idea on an update both into regards what the emotional state, time, and price are reflecting here with the chart. First of all, our prior sell-off before the all-time high of 69,000 from 64,000 to about 29,000, just for you all to keep in mind, this move was about a 54% decline that took roughly around 98 days to occur. The recent move that we saw from the lows of 29,000, close to 28 on some exchanges, we saw a big move to 69,000 in around 112 days. According to measured moves, from the top, the prior all-time high to the low that was created at 30,000. And if we just mimic this exact move, there's a high probability that the market could potentially be retesting anywhere from 32, 31, even 30,000. I think the key level here in the market, if lost, is $29,000. A loss of that could potentially put both alts, BTC, and the current state of cryptocurrency in a potential 90-day bear cycle or just the start of the bear cycle in general. Now, what we're seeing here is I do want you to be informed as to where we are based off Fibonacci's. So we lost our prior higher low. However, price lost the 618, the 70, the 786, and for the first time, this expansion here is now tapping the 883. The reason it is important is because there is a lot of liquidity trapped here from this weekly close. We see there are a lot of weekly closes and openings here. It's a weekly cluster. And the last and the lowest weekly close and open is sitting here at around 32,000 to 31,800. Now, besides price action letting us know that there is a potential reversal even here at the 100 EMA on the weekly, what's important is on both the weekly, daily, we are approaching, especially here on the weekly, we're approaching oversold territory on the weekly, but on the daily, we have not been this low on the RSI. If you actually look at time, we haven't been this low in oversold territory on the daily since March 2020, where the pandemic started and BTC dropped to almost $4,000. So it's important to keep in mind of where the RSI is tracking on the daily. On the weekly and monthly, we're seeing hidden bullish divergence. We don't know where exactly price can turn, but there's a good chance and probability that it could turn here in this green box. Now, what I do want to share with you guys is time and price. Time and price, if we were to look at the last low to high, and we were to do this measured analysis here based off time, we are in a vicinity of the 1.618, 1.786, and also the 2, which it means is the same amount of time that it took to make this measured move here from the 30,000 range to the new all-time high could be now the potential amount of time that it takes for this cycle, this 90-day, because now we're talking about 120 days to about 100 days, this 90-day cycle here on a bearish print on the chart. There is a lot of liquidity, and both time is showing a potential reversal area here based off time, anywhere from just January 22nd to potentially here the start of March. Could be an area where price chops. I do want you to keep in mind, last time we reached this level of 29,000, we chopped here and ranged for about 63 days. So this gives you an idea where if, for example, this low that we just printed, a 63-day span could take us all the way to March if we were to do a fractal and mimic the same amount of time prior. So what I'm seeing here is a potential level here, anywhere from 35,000 and under could be an area where both on the weekly and the daily, it's starting to print a possibility of a reversal, both also on the monthly based off the prior low and close here on the open and the weekly and the month. If we go here on ETH now, ETH a little bit different of a setup. has the probability to drop a tad bit more, but most of these pairs will mimic BTC and ETH's volatility and price action. In comparison to ETH, we're touching here the 786, and based off EMAs here on the weekly, we are approaching the 100, but structure remains the same. If we see BTC pull back towards, 32, 31.30, it's very likely that BTC will take ETH towards the $2,000 region. Now, if we look at our prior low, it would be very bearish if we have a loss and closing in the weekly, monthly, and potentially even in the daily under 1724. Now, what I do want to touch on is what alts are starting to do. And I'll share with, for example, Mana. We have all seen the big craze behind, for example, metaverse, NFT projects, any sort of cryptocurrency where there's a chart with a massive weekly, monthly candle. The reason I'm touching on this is because there are a lot of imbalance and there is absolutely no structure in charts where alts can potentially be in a free fall. If we look here on the weekly chart, there is no structure here for Mana besides potentially its prior all-time high that sat here at around $1.62 to $1.50. Most of these projects, I would not bet on the fact of a Fibonacci level according to where most of these projects are. If we drop to the weekly or even daily structure, there's no price action, support, resistance, any sort of real implication that there is the possibility of any sort of support to be gathered. And what has to be understood is as BTC falls its 20, 30, 40, 50% correction, alts over time, even in the 2018, 2017 bear market, some can pull back anywhere from 80 to even 90%. Taking most of these altcoins, I'll give you guys an example. Here's Solana. We go here on the weekly chart. A lot of these projects saw a extremely hyper massive bull run where at the start of the bull market, Solana was about $1, peaked towards $2.63. So if you look at the market cycle, there is no capitulation that has even actually begun in some of these alt pairs, giving the possibility where if we see max pain, max capitulation in the end of a market cycle for some of these pairs, projects, especially like Solana that has no actual structure, if you look on the monthly and the weekly, it puts a lot of these alts in a position where they could free fall if BTC and ETH actually lose some of these key levels. See, the only real structure we could actually take a look at here, in my opinion, for Solana, where we could see some sort of structure, is here at the 883 at $50 if BTC and ETH are able to reverse. Because are you really going to bet on the fact of a weekly close and open and just a 786 level to see a reversal here for price? There is some sort of structure here for Solana at this specific region at $70, but you have to keep in mind, through history, when we have seen BTC capitulate and when we have seen ETH capitulate, it has caused a lot of these projects, while ETH or BTC, for example, have gone into free fall at a 60, 70% decline, it typically does 80 to 85, even in some projects 90%. So this is a quick update to give you a good technical analysis as to some levels where BTC does need to hold and stay put. I expect in the next 14 to 30 days to really give us a good ideology as to where the market could potentially either create this higher low and have a continuation, but a loss of 29 and 1700 will really create, in my opinion, a potential start of a bearish print on a 90-day cycle and maybe even its yearly bear market that we have seen through time over the last 11 years for BTC. So quick little update. We'll do more through Go Live and on this channel, but that was everything, everybody. This is my social media handle for those of you that are seeing this video probably for the first time. I will leave it here on the chart. And other than that, everybody, happy trading. We'll catch you guys all on the next update video.